you're thinking of buying an Xbox. Whether you return to gaming or buying a secondary console, or you're brand new to playing on Xbox, you may still be questioning which Xbox console is actually perfect for you. Well, that's what we're here for. So let's roll those titles and get started, shall we? Hi everyone, I'm Hannah from the Expert Zone UK and I team, working on behalf of Microsoft. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of the current Xbox Series X and S consoles and help you decide which one is right for you. We'll also be including the brand new Xbox Series S 1TB version, which released on September 1st, 2023. We're going to break this down into 5 key areas: performance, design, storage, games, and price. Let's kick this off then with performance. Now, before I start talking through specs and power, I just want to explain first what I mean by teraflops. If you already understand this, feel free to skip ahead to get straight to the detail. Teraflops are like a way of measuring how fast a person can do maths. The more teraflops a person has, the more maths they can do in a second. This translates to consoles, as the more teraflops a console processor has, the better the games will look and play, because they can process more information faster. So there's the jargon busted, now to the specs. The Xbox Series X is the most powerful Xbox console to date. It has a 12 teraflops processor, which is 4 times more than the previous generation Xbox One X and 8 times more than the Xbox One S. It also has 16 GB of RAM, which is twice as much as the previous generation. Both versions of the Xbox Series S have a 4 teraflops processor and 10 GB of RAM, which is again more than the previous generation Xbox One console, solidifying it as a great next generation console choice. The main result of this difference is the gaming resolution. The Xbox Series X can render games in native 4K at 60 frames per second, with support for up to 8K and 120 FPS in some games. This is great for your online competitive players, where every second and every frame counts to get that win. Or maybe if you're planning on being the fastest driver in the upcoming Forza Motorsport releasing in October, every millisecond may give you that edge. The Xbox Series S targets 1440p resolution at 60 FPS with support for up to 120 FPS in some games. It's important to note, however, that if you are playing your Series S on a 4K TV, your TV may upscale the resolution to 4K. Regardless of what console you choose, games are still going to look and sound amazing thanks to support features like ray tracing, variable rate shading, spatial sound, and Dolby Vision and Atmos, which are available across all Xbox consoles. If you'd like to know any more about these features, drop us a comment below and we'll make a video. So, let's now look at the biggest visual difference, the design. The Xbox Series X is the largest of the next generation Xboxes, and it measures 15 by 15 by 30 centimeters and weighs 9.8 pounds. It only comes in black and has sometimes even been compared to looking like somewhere you might store your food and drink. In fact, if you actually bought the Xbox Series X mini fridge, you can actually now store food and drink in it. The fridge, however, doesn't have a 4K UHD Blu-ray drive that can play physical games and movies, but the actual Series X does. The Xbox Series S is a much smaller console, and it's in white. It measures 6.5 centimeters by 15.1 centimeters by 27.5 centimeters and weighs just 4.25 pounds. This is over 60% smaller than the Series X, which can save you valuable space, especially if you already own multiple consoles. The Xbox Series S 1TB is the same shape and size as the original Series S, except now it comes in the carbon black. So if you prefer a darker aesthetic for your games consoles, you now have that option in a smaller package. Both Series S consoles do not have a disk drive, so they can only play digital games. This is perfect if you again need to save some space by not having an ever-growing mountain of physical games in your home. Not that I would ever do that, of course. The third area we'll cover today is storage. The Xbox Series X has a 1TB SSD that can store around 16 games on average, depending on their size. The Xbox Series S has a 512GB SSD that can store around 4 or 5 games on average, again depending on their size. You can now have a great balance between storage size and value thanks to the Xbox Series S 1TB. As the name suggests, this console has everything great about the Series S, but now with 1 TB of storage size. All consoles have a dedicated storage expansion port that can accept a Seagate storage expansion card that comes in 512GB, 1 TB or 2 TB sizes. These cards are designed to match the speed and performance of the internal SSDs, but they're an additional cost on top of which console you choose to purchase. You can also use an external USB hard drive to store your games, but you will need to transfer them to the internal SSD or the expansion card to actually play them. This can help if you're limited like me by your local broadband speeds. I hate having to wait for hours for my favourite games to download. So being able to keep them on an external hard drive to quickly transfer onto my console SSD means I can jump back in whenever I fancy. I used to do this all the time. However, since switching to the Seagate storage expansion, I save even more time by not having to transfer at all. Now time to look at what we can actually play in the game library. Both consoles can play the same games from the current and previous generations of Xbox, thanks to backwards compatibility and smart delivery features. Some games may have different versions or enhancements for each console, depending on the developer's choice. For example, some games may have different resolutions or frame rate options. It's always best to check the individual game if you're interested in this. So, let's now end with price. The Xbox Series X currently has an RRP of £479.99, while the standard Xbox Series S RRPs at £249.99. The Xbox Series S 1 TB's RRP is £299.99, so it sits more in the middle of the price range. So there are different options for what you can afford, and why not check out different ways to purchase, including Xbox All Access. So which console should you buy? Well, that depends on your preferences and your budget. If you want the best possible gaming experience with stunning graphics, incredible performance, you want a disk drive, ample storage, and you aren't restricted by budget or space, then you should go for the Xbox Series X. If you want a cheaper and smaller console that still offers a fantastic gaming experience with smooth frame rates and great graphics, and physical discs aren't as important to you, then you should go for the Xbox Series S. Or if you want that great Series S experience but with double the storage, go for the Xbox Series S 1 TB. Either way, you'll get access to hundreds of games from various genres and generations thanks to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is a subscription service that gives you unlimited access to over 100 games for a monthly fee. You also get access to online multiplayer, EA Play, and Day 1 releases. To find out more info on Game Pass Ultimate, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be notified when that future video goes live. I hope this video has helped you get close to finding your perfect Xbox console. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Also, let me know in the comments which Xbox console you plan to purchase and why. Thanks for watching, that's all from me today. See you next time.